I guess opening statement, really good team win, culture win. You know, it was neat to see the attitude of our guys. I don't think we really knew what we were in the middle of there in the fourth quarter. I think our guys just keep playing. That's all they really know how to do, is just keep playing until the ref tells us we got to stop playing. And our guys are playing really hard right now, really, really hard. And I think, you know, that game is testimony to the fact that, you know, as I've said before, the team with the best players, or the team that plays the best throughout the course of the game, may not be the one that always wins. And in my opinion, we beat two teams the last 2 weeks that probably had a little bit more talent than we did. But it's the team that plays the best in critical situations, and it's the team that plays the hardest for the longest, and we've certainly done that. Got to improve offensively. I mean, what a disaster that first half was, with I think 1 first down in the first 6 drives. Against, you know, it wasn't like we were playing the steel curtain defense or anything like that. And so we've got to do a better job as coaches of you know, putting our young offensive line in situations where they can be successful. And then, you know, we dropped a few passes on third down, which hurt. And, you know, it was very obvious that the offense was playing a little bit tight. So I think we've got to do a better job in big games of keeping our offense relaxed. But hats off and credit to our defense for keeping us in that game. I point to those 2 red zone stops in the first quarter. Maybe one of them was in the second quarter, I'm not sure. But, you know, we hold them to 2 field goals instead of 2 touchdowns there. And that, you know, 2 touchdowns could have made it a 28-0 lead rather than a 20-0 lead. And kind of kept us in it. And then obviously we got a little bit of a shift in momentum there going into halftime. Told our guys to relax, go have fun, and they did that. And but we got to move on. And this is a UConn team that we're playing this week that's going to be rested. They're coming off a bye. They're 5-5, needing you know, just one more victory to be bowl eligible for the first time in a while. And, you know, we're playing them at their place after a very hard-fought, physical and emotionally draining game for us. So whatever your definition of a trap game is, you can circle Houston versus UConn, because that certainly has all the makings of it. But, you know, for us, we're very open, honest program. You know, I told them on Sunday that's what this is. This is the definition of a trap game. And let's get it out there right now. Let's talk about it. Let's define it, and then let's move on and prepare. This is the part of the season where you don't take your foot off the gas. You put it down even harder. And I have no worries that our mature team, you know, I think we'll get that done this week in preparation.
Tom, when fall camp wrapped up in August and you looked at your team, what did you think then, and what did you think of the potential, how good this team could be?
I thought we had a championship-level defense. I thought if we could play average to above average on the offensive line at that point, that we had a chance to be pretty good. And defense, my thoughts on our defense certainly hasn't changed. We got to get better on offense. We've regressed a little bit here in the last couple of weeks. You know, you can point to injuries or this, that, and the other all you want, but at the end of the day, we got to play better. They don't give you you know, a hall pass or a sick day or anything like that where we had 4 starting offensive linemen hurt. I got it. I mean, what so? You still got to go play the game, and you got to go move the ball, and you got to make first downs, and so we got to do a better job as coaches of getting that unit especially. And I didn't think Greg played very well in the first half when he was in there, whether it was tightness, whether it was just pressing. You know, I thought he had one of his worst performances, you know, that we've seen, at least since we've been here. But, you know, so I think we're full steam ahead defensively. I think offensively we've got to get better.
Mentioned about not taking your foot off the gas. How do you manage a team at this point? I know there are some coaches that do like to dial back on practice. How are you managing the team at this point?
We'll dial back, not from an intensity standpoint at all, merely from a volume standpoint. So we'll cut some minutes off of practice, but those minutes that we are out there will be. I mean, it's full metal jacket. I mean, ready. I mean, what we call blood on the moon on Tuesdays. I mean, it's go time on Tuesdays, and we're going to go out and we're going to, the pads are going to be popping. We're going to hit each other. We might, whereas the first couple weeks of the season, we might have been out there for 2.5 hours. Now we're out there for 2 hours, but the intensity will certainly not let up. And I'm sure, this probably is an answer to another question too. But again, as I said, there's no goal in our program that says we want to be 10-0 after 10 games. I mean, it's not. We haven't. At the end of the day, what have we done? We haven't done anything. We haven't won anything. We haven't done anything. We're just taking steps closer to attaining our ultimate goal. And so to say that we're this close now to achieving our goal, and that's the time when we're going to let up, I mean, that just doesn't make sense to me. And I told our team that too.
Back on your regression on the offense, with Greg specifically, before this game, the last couple of games, he had also looked like maybe he just what
Just
we
okay.
had. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it? Do you think some of it? There's wear and tear obviously with this point of the year, but the toll maybe of him doing as much as he's done in terms of running, scrambling, that kind of stuff. Is that the factor, or is there something underlying that might be?
No, I don't think. We would have seen it more physically than we have from a mental or accuracy standpoint, which I think is where he maybe has taken a step back. The physical part of it, I think, for whatever reason, he did look a step slow to me against Memphis, but not against Cincinnati or Vanderbilt. I thought he played really well from a physical standpoint in those games, but I don't know. I think part of it is we're playing better defenses right now in this part of our schedule. We're playing defenses that now have had 8, 9, 10 weeks of film to prepare for him and our offense, which gives you a little bit bigger or broader spectrum of kind of what he's good at and what you need to take away from a defensive standpoint. So I think there's all sorts of different reasons, but we're going to control the one that we can control, and that's him and kind of his mental capacity and his ability to go out there and lead us, from a emotional and mental standpoint. And this was the first game where I felt like he was a bit deficient there. So we'll address it and teach him how to not let that happen again.
And even though you're at a depth situation, guys have found a way to reserve and be resilient and move forward, get blocks in. Saturday was pretty much an aberration as far as starting the game, first half.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we didn't practice for all that movement, and their defensive line was twisting and moving and slanting and blitzing, and I mean they had a really good plan, and we had prepared for it. But obviously, it's you're preparing against scout team players in a very short span of time, in terms of a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday practice week, and kind of shell shocked us a little bit to see it full speed game reps, and the offensive line didn't respond real well early, but I think as the game wore on, they started kind of settling in, and again, there was nothing they did that we didn't practice. It was, I think, the speed of it, to which Memphis was doing it compared to what you can simulate in practice, that probably got the offensive line a little shell shocked.
Addressing the defense, finishing a game, you've starting to mention that a lot more because they've stepped up and they are finishing games.
Yeah, again, we've played two of the two best offenses in our conference, maybe two of the best offenses in the country in the last 2 weeks, and the numbers may not say it, but in my opinion, we played championship level defense. We've gotten 5 turnovers off those two teams, and we've kind of bowed our necks up and made stops at critical times. Oh, hang on, he's.
Sorry. After the SMU game, you said you faced a little bit of adversity there, but you were curious to see how your team was going to respond down 10 in the fourth quarter, down 20 in the fourth quarter. What did you see from your team?
Oh, I saw a bunch of guys that like having fun playing for each other, and guys that really didn't care what the score was. It didn't bother them. I think, I walked up and down the sideline in that second half, and just to try to keep reminding our team, how fun this game really is, and kind of look around. I remember walking up and down, maybe 10 or 12 different guys, and the one that sticks out, as I said on the conference call, is I remember seeing Adrian McDonald. I don't know how much we were down by at that point, but he had this real serious look on his face. I said, "Hey, man, you having fun, man?" Kind of looked at me, and he smiled, a big, pretty smile that he has, and he said, "Yeah, Coach, you know what? I am having fun." And didn't matter the score at that point. I just needed to remind him, just keep going, playing hard, and playing for the guy next to you. And good things are going to happen if we don't run out of time. And we didn't run out of time, thankfully.
How did you keep players from hanging their heads or whatever when Greg Ward went out?
I think it's just kind of ingrained in our culture that we're. I mean, if had we needed to go to Adam Schultz when Adam was healthy, I don't think anybody would have batted an eye. And the same with Kyle. It's kind of this, competitive focus. I mean, these guys, you're a family and you're a brotherhood, and these guys see the way that Kyle trains each and every day. And again, when your number gets called, there's going to be one or two reactions from your teammates at any position. It's going to be, "Hey, we're good. Kyle's going in the game. We're fine. I've seen the way Kyle works. I've seen the way he prepares. We'll be all right. We're fine." Or it's going to be, "Oh my God, I've seen the way that guy prepares. He stinks. He's not a good teammate. Oh, it's over. We can't win with this guy." And there's not a guy on our team. I mean, regardless of position, offensive line, quarterback. I mean, we had first or second round draft pick at corner, whatever, whoever you talk to might have, varying opinions on that in William Jackson that didn't play. And I don't think anybody batted an eye to see Jeremy Winchester in there playing against one of the best offenses in the country. And so, it's just kind of what we do around here. We train and we watch very specifically how the guy next to us trains, and we know if that guy's ready or not when he goes in the game, and more often than not, he is ready.
You mentioned how 10-0 is not the goal. Is there anything tough, though, about being undefeated at this point in the season?
Nope. It's awesome. I like winning a lot more than losing, I can tell you that. The only thing I think that might be a little bit difficult again is the emotional and physical, exhaustion that we faced in that game Saturday night, and getting our guys back up and ready to go tackle another week's worth of preparation. But if our track record as coaches says anything, I think our coaches won't let any kind of let up. I can't see it.
Coach, you talked about how much these guys love each other, and we don't hear that a lot in the football world. But is that something that you wanted to instill here, and is that something that helps win games like Saturday and win championships?
Absolutely. I don't think you can do it in this game without it. I really don't. I've been a part of, played against, you name it, seen on TV, really, really, really talented teams that don't care about each other, and they're average. Maybe above average is about as good as you're going to get, but to say that you're going to be elite in this sport or championship level in this sport without genuine love and care for the guy next to you, I don't think it can't happen. I know it can't. And I reminded our guys last week. I mean, we use the word love a lot around here, and again, it sometimes you use it too much and it loses its meaning. It's not love you, dog. Love. I mean, that's not the word we're talking about. Love you, bro. That ain't it. It's a kiss you on the cheek, squeeze you real tight, tell you have my heart in your hands, love, brother, not love you, bro, or dog, with the one-handed, what's Vince Vaughn say, ass out hug. You know, that we're not into that around here. We're into real, genuine love, and that's the only way I know how to do it, and it's the only way we know how to do it, and it's paid off so far.
Bob Diaco's had a lot of success prior to being at UConn as defensive coordinator. What does he do defensively that's made him so successful and has UConn improved from the year before?
Yeah, not a whole lot. I think that's the beauty. The beauty is in his simplicity. He plays a 3-4 defense, and the beauty of it is 3-4 quarters defense, and it is that every single snap. And he's got different adjustments for different formations, and they're going to be the same adjustments every game. But you can just tell the guys, his team, is extremely well coached in all of the strengths and weaknesses of that defense. And I think the beauty of what he does is, because it's a 3-4, you know, it's kind of a 7-man box in the run game, but as soon as they read pass, most of the time they're dropping 8 guys out and only rushing 3. And so you'll see they don't have a lot of sacks on the year, but what they do have is a bunch of interceptions, because they're usually dropping 8 into coverage, and it is really, really hard to complete a pass against them. I think they're number 1 in our conference in pass yards given up at 187, and number 1 in our conference in interceptions. You know, it's really hard because once they read pass, they're dropping out of there only rushing 3, and it's really hard to find open receivers.
How did Jeremy Winchester fare? And with the last 2 games, do you possibly decide not to go William or rest him a little bit more? Or do you think that if he gets through practice this week?
Yeah, no. If he can play, he's going to play. To your first question, Jeremy played good, not great, but good. Graded out as a champion. So did his part very admirably. And filled in nicely. But, yeah, if William can play and if he's close to 100%, he's going to play.
Tommy, you were talking about the love on the team and expressing that. I know on some of the telecasts they've shown you before games as the team's coming off the bus, entering the stadium, embracing players. I mean, is that part of that to set that?
Yeah, I had, the ESPN crew asked me that prior to the game, and, I made mention my grandma's maiden name is Zappazotti, so I've grown up in a very Italian culture. I know the pasty white skin and Herman last name probably doesn't say that, but that was the culture that I kind of grew up in. And we kissed our male relatives on the cheek. We hugged everybody, and we made it known that that it was okay, even as grown men, to express your love to each other. And I think that's important, and it gets lost in our tough guy society a little bit, that these guys, they work too hard. They're around each other too much not to express to each other how much they love each other. Oh, man. Zappasodi. Yep.
Tom, I know you guys had struggled offensively in that first half, but it seemed like it was a while until Farrell got some touches and got into the game. I guess, was that by design? Or
No. Probably went away from the run a little bit because of all the movement up front. We, as coaches, probably got a little gun shy, seeing what the couple runs that we did attempt early in the game, how they got kind of shoved back in our face a little bit. And so probably rather than fixing the mistake, we abandoned it a little bit too quickly. And I think we did a better job in the second half, even down 20 or 20 to 13 most of the second half, still running the ball, when need be. I think Kenneth finished with 2 touchdown carries, and Javin with another one. So we ran it when we needed to. Good. Oh, no, we're not. I know.
I'll throw numbers, since that's probably number 22 for them. Newsom looks like he's a big part of the running back. Looks like he's a big part of what they do. What do you see, offensively, in terms of him and just overall. I mean, they haven't scored a lot of points this year, but
Yeah, they're very conventional offensively, but very similar kind of style and feel that their defense has. Not as productive as their defense so far, but they're gonna be very sound, very well coached. Not a lot of flash. They're gonna favor substance over style. Certainly, running back is a key ingredient to what they do. Multiple personnel groups, so they're going to try to, get you a little bit confused as to how you line up to different formations. But they want to run the ball and play action pass and be very sound in it.
you said last night the weather, that doesn't bother you?
No, I think until you're talking about sub-freezing temperatures or 20-mile-an-hour winds. I don't, whether it's in the 40s or 60s, that's why they make long sleeves and tights, right? I mean, I think we'll be okay.
I guess is there any update you can share on Greg Ward?
Other than, he jogged around a little bit at practice yesterday, and then today will be a big day for him. The ankle, minimal swelling, was still pretty sore on him. So today, other than going to class, his job is to get the ankle right, and he's living in the training room today and tomorrow, and we'll know a lot more tomorrow before we head out to practice. I would imagine he's going to be serviceable for this game. Now, is Greg Ward with a 70% ankle better than Kyle Postma? We'll have to make that decision if that's the case on Thursday or Friday, or is Greg Ward with a 95% ankle. If Greg Ward's 100%, he's going to play. It's, where is the diminishing returns to where it's affecting his style and his ability to be effective versus is that the negative repercussions of that ankle, does that affect us more than putting Kyle in, who doesn't have near the experience. So we're going to have to weigh that at the end of the week, but I would imagine he'll be at least serviceable by the end of the week. Now, whether he'll be healthy enough to start or not, that we won't know till probably Thursday or Friday. Good? All right. Thank you.